What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripe Show. Scott, welcome to the basement. We're not talking about the Yankees, who are in last place still. We're not talking about me, who's been in the basement for months. You have now come down to our level, podcasting from the basement. Logan's still in a room with Sun. I can see that. Just give it time, man. Give it time. You'll be in the darkness soon.
He's in the basement. Is that what you're saying? I've been in the basement. I haven't put two and two together, but that I was in the basement. But now I've set up my more permanent desktop and all of that, which has taken way too long to get into play. And yeah, the permanent setup is in the basement. So we're both back to square one where this all started, podcasting from the basement. At least that's the wives' tale for every podcaster that's ever podcasted before.
Bedroom, basement, the
cliches, it's mom's basement. Yeah, but I don't live with my mother, and I didn't start in the basement, but that's fine. They were shitty in the beginning, nonetheless.
Yes. Well, last episode, we kicked it off asking if the slump was busted. And of course, it was the Kansas City Royals. So it's a wait and see with the difficult schedule coming up. Mets came into the Bronx. They ended up splitting. Yankees looked like trash on Tuesday night. And I guess they looked better because Rodon pitched well last night, which was great to see, necessary to see. But still, the offense overall in the series, 1 for 17 with runners in scoring position. Verlander toyed with them, just like darting breaking balls on the outside part of the plate on Tuesday. No chance. These hitters had no chance against Verlander. Still a great pitcher. Obviously, we're not talking about vintage Cy Young Verlander anymore.
No, but his curveball still looks very similar.
Still filthy. Filthy.
And that curveball is... When you see a guy that throws as hard as he does, that has the intimidation presence that, with the fastball, and then drops that like absolute pure textbook 12-6 curve that just you can see the hump. It's like a camel, that thing. It's pretty impressive that he's still able to spin it the way he is.
What's nuts is he's just been in the league so long. When I was doing the Cashman episode, I talked about the 2006 ALDS, the Yankees lost to Detroit. Justin Verlander started a game in that series for Detroit. That was 2006. The man is still pitching at a pretty high level. It's just he keeps on going. That bionic arm.
You don't have to tell me. I was doing double.
You were
doing
beer
bongs with the guy in college. So yeah.
Imagine if you were
Imagine if I was a professional pitcher for.
No, imagine if you were still doing beer bongs in a basement.
Who says I'm
podcasting
not?
In a basement?
Who says I'm not?
It's one of the unexplainable things in baseball that no advanced stat or nerd is ever going to be able to explain is why some guys just seem to own laundry. Justin Verlander, just no matter what body is occupying the Yankees' laundry, he seems to own them. It is no rhyme or reason to it. Different players have come and gone, but he just pitches well against the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean that's he's a big game pitcher, and I think when he sees the New York Yankees on the other side, he levels up. Especially this is a Subway Series too. This is a new rivalry for him in that sense. Not that it's a true rivalry, but it's a crosstown thing that gets more attention than it probably deserves. And
did it feel at all hyped this week? Because it really did not for me.
I don't think it felt hyped.
These teams have both had disappointing seasons. Obviously, the Yankees are still fighting for the playoffs, but both sides are kind of just like.
I didn't even get shit talk from people that I know that are Mets fans that normally would chirp me big after Tuesday. And I heard nothing because there's a lot of people checked out, and it's hard to talk shit when you're both, struggling as mightily as you are. So there's not really a leg to stand on. Logan, I know you were at Tuesday night? Unfortunately, Tuesday night.
Yeah, I was at Tuesday night. The stadium was going early.
It looked like it was going. It was packed.
When did it fill up? Because I also knew someone who was at Tuesday's game, and he texted me a picture, like literally first pitch, and the stadium looked half full. And I was like, that's just like Tuesday night, all in fucking rush hour traffic.
Well, no, they're also online getting concessions, and they've been there for 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was. I would say probably about the third inning. The traffic, it rained like.
That's true. It was monsooning at like 5 o'clock.
So it took everybody a really long time to get there. I knew some people that were coming from a little bit further on Long Island. It took them like 3 hours to get there. But that was being there was
turn around, watched on TV. was like,
it was a all-time bad experience being there. I mean, it was
Did you stay
like,
for the end?
No.
No.
I walked out in the 9th inning when Marinaccio
came in the game.
Yeah. No, I let him start, and then he ran into trouble, and I was like, we're out. Like,
yeah. That's fair. Marinaccio has been bad. We talked about that the last episode. He comes back in and just is bad again. He's not a good pitcher right now. He needs to get sent down. He needs to get sent down and bring someone else up because he's not helping this team. And he hasn't been helping the team for over a month plus, even longer than that. We went through the stats last week, but the bullpen was good. They actually did empty the tank last night, which was nice.
Got an off day today.
Some would well, this is what we said. They did it. So,
logical.
A little bit of a little.
Now you're patting them on the back for just
for doing
logic.
The normal things. Yes, I am. I'm looking for wins. In wins, I'm looking for wins. But yeah, there was I know you guys were just talking about this as I was getting my mic, set up because it wasn't working before we started. The little exchange between Boone and Rodon at the end, because obviously Rodon pitched last night, which is a big start for him. We got to talk about that. But that exchange was interesting, and I have a different take than what you guys think it was. I didn't see the post game, so I don't know if the post game was if they said something about it. But it did look like something around like, yeah, I can't believe you're coming out here to take me out. And then there was an exchange. In my head, the conversation went like this. It was like, it's because of my pitch count, right? It's the pitch count, right? Nothing else. It's the pitch count, right? And like next time I'm fully stretched, right? Fully stretched, right? You're not coming back out in the 6th. It was like one of those. It was like you're not pulling me because of that hit. Like that's ludicrous, right? There's 2 outs in the 6th inning. You're going to let me finish this. Oh, it's pitch count. That there was something like that where you could tell that he was pissed off and just like very intent and serious. I don't think he was trying to talk himself out of it because I don't think that was happening at that point. I think he was coming out, and I do think it was because of the pitch count, and that's why he was at 93 pitches, I believe, right? So that was the most he had thrown.
92 pitches. Yep. So if it was pitch count, like Rodon's got to know what his target pitch count is going into that game.
Yeah.
So if his target pitch count is call it 90,
95, 100.
Yeah, I was gonna say between 90 and 95. If it's 100. You've got 8 pitches to go. You let him face Alvarez. I know it's a right-handed hitter, but like that's the number 8 or 9 hitter for the Mets, like a young catcher. Like you let, even though it's a tying run, if it's 100 pitches and he's at 92, you let him attack that hitter. But if it's at 90 to 95, and that means he's going to go over, and he's the tying run. I mean, we're talking semantics here, though. It's
Oh, I know.
But they focus on this shit. They're like, well, 92 pitches, he's going to be this much ramped up between the next start. But if we go to 99 pitches, then there's a 4% more of injury to his shoulder. It's just like,
I know. I know. It's painful to think about the conversations that are behind the scenes. I dread the baseball people who are in those conversations, just eating their tongues,
just smashing their face against a wall, being like, you
just idiots. Like holding everything in so that they don't explode in some of those conversations. I get it. It's tough. Look, man, we could break down his stuff, but I really wanted to like Rodon a lot from going into this, and no kiss, I don't give a fuck. I love this guy.
What?
I do. I love his body language.
Hold on.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna tell you. I'm a completely 180 from last time.
And from day one, where you called this guy a hardo for trying too hard.
Well, now I'm getting to know. There's a getting to know you period, right? Where you understand who the personalities are. I don't think I knew what his personality was to the extent that I know now. And he's got a lot of energy. He does care. He cares. You sent an article that was talking. Who was it talking to him? Joel Sherman or somebody was talking to him. And
New York Post, where he said, I just need to suck less. That's what my goal is right now. Suck less.
When he had me at I suck, you know what I mean? Like when you start telling me that you suck and that all the excuses that people are trying to bring to the table in your defense are dumb and stupid and I just sucked. You okay? Like that's all you needed to say.
It's completely disarming the opposing. It's like the Jerry Maguire. You had me at hello. You had me at I suck.
You had me at I suck. And when I see him out there with the body language and the emotion that he has, the kiss to fans at
still bad
in Los Angeles, not great. Makes more sense to me. because of just he's a fiery, emotional guy that wears everything out there. He leaves his buttons unbuttoned.
What do you think of that? No undershirt.
I love it.
That sounds uncomfortable, doesn't it?
No, it reminds me of David Wells. I love it.
But David Wells, just fat guy, fun.
Rodon's not skinny. Okay, Rodon's he's got some girth to him. He's a healthy boy.
What's he used to that?
And he has a different fire than anyone else on this team. And I think that's a very good thing. You see Cole with that emotion when he gets fired up, but
6'2",
Cole doesn't.
255, big boy.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's like Lance Lynn. How is that? I bet that's close to Lance Lynn.
I'll check Lance Lynn.
He's got a different energy and a different fire. And Cole is just all business, serious, and gets fired up when he's there. Was I on with the comp?
No, Lance Lynn is massive.
Oh, what did it say?
6'5", 6'5",
Are we
6'5", 6'5", 270.
Oh, the 6'5" threw me off. I didn't know he was 6'5".
Big boy.
If he were 6'2", he would be 255. Like the build is
6'5", 270 is a
big dude.
Big ass man.
Yeah. And smells like hot dogs. So anyway, I have come
pastrami out there.
I have come around. And he didn't even pitch all that great. Like he pitched well, but he still walked 3 guys. Like the command wasn't there completely.
Threw
and
he got a lot of balls. 61 on the 92 pitches were strikes.
Yeah.
Like you said, 3 walks in 5 2/3 innings is not great. I think the conversation, Boone went out there and I think the decision was made. He's going to pull him. King was ready to go. But sometimes managers do this thing where they let the guy fight to stay in the game, even though they know they're coming out of the game, which I don't quite understand, because if anything, that's just going to piss the guy off more. It's like, well, what are you even asking me for? If your decision is made up, just come out, take the ball from me, and we could talk about it in the dugout. Why are you even going to talk to me as if you're going to give me a chance to stay in the game, even though the decision was made? Because what is there something I could say or do that would allow you to keep me in that game?
No, because I don't think that was the situation. That's what I'm saying. I'm pushing back on that. I don't think that he went out there with the intent for him to even say anything. I think there was just a conversation about why he was
so they just had the conversation.
Okay. I think that he didn't want to come out.
Do you think going into the inning, Boone said, you've got 2 batters, or your batter to batter, or
possible.
One guy gets on and I'm going to the pen?
Yeah, it's possible. Not a bad thing to do to communicate to your starter.
Again, if that's the case, then why is Rodon, Rodon should know, I give a hit.
It doesn't matter. He's a competitor. So he wants to be out there. He wants to finish it. I appreciate that. I do. He walked off. There was a mixed reaction to him walking off. It wasn't everybody standing up. There were a few people standing up. Wasn't a ton of applause. He didn't,
according to Michael Kay, he got a standing ovation.
No, he did not. I watched it. There were a few people standing.
I know. Michael Kay said, wow, look at this ovation for Carlos Rodon.
Oh, that's bullshit. Maybe it sounded different for him up in the booth, but watching it, there was not a standing ovation.
It was because it was an okay start. That was the exact ovation you get for a 5 2/3 innings, 1 run, 3 walk start.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, nice. Thank you. We're not losing. Yay.
Anyway, I appreciate his energy. I do. I think he just, he figures out sometimes how to channel it. That's fine. I think overall he gives a fuck, and that's all I care about at the end of the day. I like seeing that you care with athletes. Some athletes I think that's ridiculous, but as a fan, I think it's I love it. I want to see you. I want to see the emotion on your sleeve. I want to see you wear it, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. For me, the way that I take in sports, that's a piece that I really like, because I'm so emotionally invested. I love seeing that the athletes are also emotionally invested. So yeah, man, I don't know. I'm just, I feel different about him today.
I was talking to the only San Francisco Giants fan I know, Tyler Chin, who you know as well, Scott.
Yes.
And yesterday, so it was before the Rodon started, he said, how you liking Rodon so far? And I was laughing. I was like, oh, he hasn't been great. He's pitching against me. He goes, I should have warned you about him because he's a hothead. And I learned about the bat kick situation last summer, after a bad start from Arizona. He went to the dugout and was kicking bats, and it hit a teammate. And right, it's like, so like, obviously he wasn't kicking a bat to hit a teammate,
right?
But it happened.
Yeah.
And so now that's some more background and context to him saying when he blew the kiss, and then saying, It was better than the alternative, right? Of going into the dugout, slamming shit, throwing helmets, throwing bats, potentially injuring himself, potentially injuring somebody else. Like, we're getting more backstory now. We're learning as we go here. And then you couple this with the fact that his wife is very vocal on the X.com. And
the X.com. Holy shit. Did they change that over yet?
It's X.com now. I mean, I still think you say tweet. Xing sounds
the UI
dirty,
hasn't changed
frankly.
yet on the app. Anyway, keep going.
It sounds if you X someone, you X at someone, sounds a little dirty. But his wife Ashley said the days he's ass, he'll own it and get ready for the next one. Always has. It's a struggle bus right now for fans. I know. So it's like she is definitely one of those wives that might have some shit to say, good and bad.
That's fine.
Twitter, which is always, no, it's fine until it's not, because it's always a little dangerous, because she is in a weird position where she'll never win against fans. There's one of her, there's millions of dumbass Yankees fans tweeting, and we'll tweet at her and mention her and tag her anytime now. If she's going to talk shit, she's going to get shit talked back. So this is all fun and games. And his fire and passion and everything you talked about is fun and games when he's pitching well. Because
it's all going to be channeled in the right direction. It's all got to be channeled in the right direction. And at the end of the day, his performance is the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that matters. And when you have emotion and you're not pitching well, it becomes a tired game. You start acting like a toddler, and people are like sick of it. And I
have a good example of this.
I will flip flop probably 5 more times on this, because that's what happens. I'm also emotional. But when I see him doing the things that he's doing, even when he wasn't at his greatest, I appreciate it. But I do understand, and he needs to understand, that there is a barometer for that type of emotion. And when you're not pitching well over an extended period of time, it's not tolerated as much, and it looks more fucked up.
We loved Paul O'Neill kicking water coolers when he would ground out, because guess what? He already had 2 hits in the game, most likely, right? And it's fun. And Paul O'Neill was a leader, a warrior, helped the Yankees win multiple championships, all fun and games.
Yeah,
exactly. Brett Gardner, right? When Brett Gardner, towards the end of his career, was the veteran outfielder, team leader, getting clutch hits for this team, and he was slamming his helmet down and banging and yelling at umpires, so it was a little bit endearing. Then, as his career progressed even more into 18-19, and he was hitting .215, but still batting third because they needed to break up the righties, and he was slamming his bat every time he struck out, it was getting a little tiring, even though we love Brett Gardner. So all I'm saying is a lot of that fire and passion in the perception in the eyes of fans is going to be dependent on how you're pitching. Obviously, you have a bad outing and you get pissed off. Okay, I get it. But if you're sucking for an extended period of time, and every single time you're just slamming your glove down and yelling and doing crap, you're like, well, what's going on? Like, change something, or else just keep same shit, different day with this. That's all. That's what I'm saying about the fire and passion.
Yeah. I think Brett Gardner, very different situation, but also the situation between the two players where it's most different is the fact that one was a free agent, signed for huge money as a pitcher.
Yep.
And the other guy came up to the organization. Factor. You have a much longer rope.
Such longer leash. Oh my God. It's insane. Like, think about the leash between Stanton and Judge, right?
Oh, it's tremendously. Well, there's also, yes, it's very different, even if all things were equal.
Stanton got booed in his second home game at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. That's the get to know
of his
period.
career.
The get to know you period.
Okay. After having a big series in Toronto, he hits the 2 home runs on opening day in 2018. Right. The Yankees come back home. He goes 0 for 5 with, I think it was 5 strikeouts in his first game at Yankee Stadium. The next day, first at bat, out. Boo! It's like dudes had 6 at bats at Yankee Stadium and we're booing him. Meanwhile, Aaron Judge, who came on with a splash, rookie season and all that crap, but he could have gone 0 for 55, and some fans still won't boo him.
No, because there's hope and potential, and he's your guy.
From
the beginning.
Stanton, no hope and potential.
No, because you paid him, so there's expectations. It all boils back to expectations.
The Stanton thing is ironic too, because they didn't pay him. They acquired him.
They're still paying him. I understand that, but they are.
I know that, but but there is Carlos Rodon, free agent signing, right? Like complete.
I mean,
just
talk about semantics. Gun. That is semantics. Also, they acquired the contract.
It is, but it isn't, because Carlos Rodon is a hired gun. He accepted the contract to sign in New York. Stanton, I believe, had a no trade clause, so technically he also did accept it. But there's a slight difference. He was traded by his team where he signed long term to a different team. Yes, making big money.
The funny thing about that one, while the Yankees didn't extend a contract to him, they acquired the contract. It prevented them from extending a contract to one of two people that Yankees fans actually wanted, between Harper and Machado. So there's actually more context behind that whole thing because of what didn't happen, and the fact that the Yankees chose Stanton essentially over Harper and Machado and got the quote deal because of the way that they acquired him.
That is something we should probably dive into at some point in the off season, because
I pulled the numbers a couple of weeks ago. I was looking at it between Stanton, Harper, and Machado from
Stanton's by far got to be the worst, if anything, just because of his playing time.
By far.
Yeah.
By far the progression, the production is, I mean, Harper's had a lot of injuries as well, but by far the production.
When Harper's been on the field, though, he's been elite, and Machado's been steady. Machado has not been, I mean, he hasn't been
Baltimore.
He hasn't been Baltimore prime Machado, but he's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harper won an MVP. I forgot he did win an MVP in Philly. So
yeah,
there you go. And had a big postseason run with them last year. All right. Anything else?
Bryce Harper was the
left-handed hitter
fan fit that everybody wanted. I wanted Machado because we needed a third baseman, but yeah,
too much sense. Anything else from Rodon's start or anything? I know you wanted to talk about Volpe's base running, give him a little bit of credit, because that is the one thing about Volpe immediately that we figured out early in the season. Great baseball instincts, great base running instincts, not the fastest guy in the world, but still able to steal bases, first to third, that type of stuff. And I thought the Yankees last night had a lot of runners in motion. They hit a couple balls to the opposite field into holes vacated when the runners were in motion. It's just, again, 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. You had so many scoring opportunities. They won the game 3-1. That should have very easily been a 6-1 game.
Yeah. And, LeMahieu got caught in a weird, bad hop, going trying to score on a wild pitch that just stayed in front of him. I think it was a tough read the way it was, but yeah, Volpe, I just wanted to mention this quickly because we talk about his slumping on the offensive side, but I think that a lot of this is getting figured out for him in his rookie year, and like everything that we get this year is gravy for him. I think year 2 is going to be a big one for him with a lot of adjustments. But the one thing that you look at for the intangibles and the things that are instinctual that he can control the most, and a lot of that is his base running. There was I think it was the 4th inning. Ground ball to third base, like trying to turn a double play at minimum, get the force at second, and Volpe's halfway down the line on the batted ball and beats it pretty handily. That's a huge aggressive play that doesn't happen last year, most likely because of the base paths, the lead that you can get. Like there's a lot more aggressive tactics that you can take on the base path to get to that point. But a guy like Volpe is going to continue to take advantage of that and of the rules. And then, beating out, there was another ball that could have been a double play that he beat out. There's just a lot of these little things that he's doing on a team that struggles offensively. The things that he's doing are opportunities to extend the inning, and the Yankees need every opportunity to extend the inning that's humanly possible. You said it, 1 for 11 yesterday. What was the total on the series? Something for 17, something
1 for 17.
It was 1 for 17. Yeah, that's egregious. So you need to do the little things right. You need to take the base when it's available. You need to do those things. And I think this goes back to the conversation with some of the guys who don't have the instincts as well as Volpe does, and they get caught. But they're all trying to do that extra thing to keep the inning alive or to extend to get to that next base, because they know that there's a struggle to get anybody in. And Volpe does have he's got it in him. Like that's something that that he has, that nobody needs to tell him what to do on the base path. He understands what to do, and he's got a really good feel for it. And it's just coming out more and more as I'm watching him. So
when is it going to materialize into more consistency at the plate? Because he's now 7 for his last 49, which is a 143 batting average. And in that 55 plate appearance time, he's only getting on base 23% of the time, and he's got a 481 OPS. So while I agree with you, the baseball instincts and the intangibles, like that play to end the game against Kansas City over the weekend, was an amazing play, and something that I think a lot of rookies don't make, or don't have the instinct immediately just to throw to third base. Yes.
His baseball IQ is high.
I'm looking for that, for it eventually to translate into more consistency at the plate, because we have not seen it. He's had 2
it's reps,
brief
man.
stretches.
It's reps.
He's been an everyday player. He's an everyday player.
It's reps. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's still year one. He's still, how old is he? 21, 22 years old, 23 years old, whatever it is. You're not going to see that consistency in his rookie year, I don't think. You're going to see it in stretches as we have.
I know he's going to go through slumps.
Year two is going to be an interesting year for him, because he's going.
So is he just going to have a year this year where maybe he'll go through one more hot streak for 15 games, but ultimately he's going to hit 204 on the season? Like,
I think that we're going to see. I think that we're going to see up and down from him for the rest of the year. I'm hopeful that the Yankees can actually, get their ass in gear and take a wild card, so that we can see him in a postseason opportunity, because I think that just from his makeup and seeing what we've seen, he does thrive in more of that high pressure situation. I think he likes the light. I think he wants that stuff. So yeah, I think we're going to see more streaks from him. I think we're going to see more continue to be aggressive on the base path. We're going to see good defense. He's played really good defense like that. I think he's actually a better defender than what we thought he was going to be and what they talked about.
He's been a better defender and he's been better at everything except hitting than we thought.
And hitting is his probably his biggest tool coming up.
That's the reason why he was a top prospect, is his bat.
So I do expect that to come. I expect plate discipline is not something that you can just all of a sudden,
the plate discipline
manage.
Is not. I don't think the plate discipline.
The plate discipline definitely goes down to it. If you look at his on base percentage in the walks,
it impacts it.
It's certainly part of it.
And I
thought he had really good at bats yesterday too.
I expected more hits. I mean, that might sound stupid. I expected more hits. Like, I expected him to strike out a decent amount, maybe not have the highest on base percentage. I did not expect him to be hitting 212 on July 27th. I thought he would have more hits. I thought he would be a 260 at least hitter.
Yeah. Well, I think his career, when we look back in 10, 15 years and we look back at him, I think you're going to see 280. I think that's the as far as
he's not going to have a career for 10 years if he doesn't start hitting 280. Like, eventually he's going to have to start hitting. He's not going to be a major league player.
Homie, 280 gets you in the fucking Hall of Fame today. Okay.
But what I'm saying is he's not going to be the Yankees shortstop for the next 10 years, or any team shortstop, if he's a 212 hitter.
That's fine. Either way,
I
don't think you're going to get the consistency that you're asking for. I think is, hold on one sec. I don't think it's,
I know I'm not going to get the consistency.
I think it's too much. You're asking for too much.
He's got an 83 OPS plus right now. If he ends the season around an 83 OPS plus, is that a disappointment in your eyes?
I need more than just the offensive side. He's going out there playing shortstop every day. So
okay, while I'm not going to call his,
do I want him to be more? Do I hope for?
That's
more?
Not what I'm asking.
Yeah.
We have to evaluate so far the Yankees.
But you're asking about disappointments. That, again, like, expectations go into that.
I think the Yankees the Yankees have to be disappointed. Okay, the Yankees named him the opening day shortstop because he won the job in spring training, and that was an awesome decision. I think if he ends the season at a 212 hitter and an 83 OPS plus, taking into account the great base running and the stolen bases and the intangibles, I think it would be a disappointment. A disaster? No. Disappointment? Yes.
Yeah, I don't agree with you. I don't think that I don't think that they believe that.
Volpe would call it a disappointment. Like,
of course he would. Every player would. You want him to. Of course he would. But at the same time, disappointment, yeah. Do I want his batting average and his on-base percentage and his OPS to be higher? Of course I do. But again,
what is disappointing? Or do you just like opposite of
me? Yeah, my expectations for shortstop are low. Pretty fucking low.
Lower than 17% worse than league average.
You know where my expectations are? I want a guy out there every day to be that guy so that he can develop. He's got to develop.
An everyday player.
He's a develop.
I know that.
Got to develop.
So I can't say I'm disappointed with his production this year.
You can say whatever you want. I'm saying
disappointed with the entire team this year. Look, Volpe is also been a disappointment. I had higher expectations.
It's 2023. Everybody knows that,
feelings
are valid no matter what.
2023.
Yeah, your feelings are valid no matter what. I can't take your feelings away from you.
No one listens to me in my own house. You don't listen to me on my own podcast. I don't
Andrew,
X
I hear
anymore
you.
because fuck X.
I listen to you. I just don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. I don't think the same. And that's why we have a show, because we don't agree on everything.
I think you don't even entertain saying, like, agreeing with me even a little bit, just to make
here comes this is getting,
because
let's lay down on the couch.
Sometimes you have an argument, you take a stance, and I'll take a step back. Yeah, you know what? I understand. Yeah, you're right. You've never.
Well, I don't want you to do that unless you actually think that. So
I think that because I can change my opinion on things. Or
I can change my opinion on things. I don't
almost
look
800
at him
episodes.
coming out every day
on anything
as a disappointment. I just don't. I don't see it as a disappointment. Could he have been better offensively? Sure. Yes, he could have been better offensively and more consistent. Yes, absolutely. But I see those, again, goes back to what Bevan would do with first graders. Glows and grows. When you're looking at
now
those things,
a professional athlete is the equivalent of a first grader.
Sometimes rookies. Have you heard him talk? Okay. My heart sobs every time I hear him speak. There's like, there's angels
you're just
dying
got a soft spot
under
for.
rainbows.
Are you disappointed? Hold on. Are you disappointed in DJ LeMahieu's season?
Yes.
Okay. Are you disappointed in Anthony Rizzo's season?
Yes, to now, because of the stretch. I wasn't until he. I think there's time. I don't think there's disappointment in the season. I think he was injured, so I'll TBD.
How about Harrison Bader? Kind
of what I expected, minus the injuries, but that's part of it.
Oh, you didn't expect the injuries?
I probably expected the injuries, but he's about where I thought he would be.
All right. We are brought to you today by Game Time, which is our preferred ticketing app because it is the easiest way to buy tickets to whatever you want to go to: sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, theater, and much, much more. Scott, this weekend, big series in Baltimore. Game Time, we can use it to go, which we're not, but if we were, how much money would you want to spend per ticket? And I'm going to find us an amazing seat right now, live on the air. We'll do it live.
Camden Yards. I'm going there. Not paying more than $75 a ticket.
Okay.
I feel like $75 at Camden Yards.
Tickets are pricey. People are showing up to this series. I think Baltimore fans, they're going to treat this. This is going to be a big one. Okay. I really do think this is. Normally it's Yankee Stadium South. Do you think it's going to be Yankee Stadium South this weekend?
I don't know, man. It's hard for me to get a pulse on what Baltimore fans are. I still think there's going to be a lot of Yankee fans in this place, but I think
there'll be a lot.
Price will depend on this, and I also don't know how well the Orioles did with their season ticket sales in the offseason.
So, ordinary, like the last 5 years, a Baltimore Yankees game in Baltimore has been 70% Yankees fans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been a joke.
My
brother lived there. They were giving away tickets.
It's going to be maybe 68% Yankees fans this time.
Okay. That's still more.
No. Probably 50-50, but we can get great tickets for less than $75. $66 each. Section 360, row 6, all in pricing. That is the upper deck, but the terrace level of the upper deck. Third base view. I mean, that's a great deal. That's a great deal if you want to use Game Time. And I saw an image of the seat, so I know it's a good view, which is one of the reasons why I like using the Game Time app. There's also event cancellation protection, so you can buy with confidence. They show flash deals, cheap options, and much, much more, so you can make an informed purchase. Snag tickets today without stress using Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code BRONX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, create an account, use code BRONX for $20 off your first purchase. Also, shout out to my friend Will, who did use Game Time and our promo code to go to the Yankees-Mets game on Tuesday night. He's a Mets fan, so I guess he picked the right one to go to.
Will's the guy that doesn't like me, right? British guy?
No, Will's a British guy, yeah. He doesn't like you?
He doesn't like me.
No. It's probably because you
don't agree with you. I don't agree with his friend. I'm sorry, Will.
We did talk about the Tuesday game, the Yankees not touching Verlander. I was listening to Boone's post game, and I actually thought he mentioned something good.
Oh, here we go.
So
do we have like a
see? I can evolve.
An applause sound.
We should. Yeah. This is when we need the soundboard. So Herman wasn't good. He pitched 6 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs. The big blow was that Alonso 3-run home run. And Boone, in his Boone way, still didn't say bad pitch, but questioned the 0-2 changeup to Alonso there. And it wasn't a terrible pitch. Alonso did have to go down a little bit to get it. But what is Herman's changeup? His third best pitch? Being generous,
he also
right?
threw it right after an off speed. I think it was a curveball right before that. So it's not even like, he was messing with timing much. It was an 0-2 pitch, right?
0-2 changeup.
Yeah. And he left it over the plate too. If you're throwing an 0-2 changeup, you need to bury it, or it needs to be significantly off the plate. It needs to be a pitch that you're setting something else up with if you're going to throw it. But
I'm Domingo Herman there. Your curveball is your best pitch, and you've got 0-2. You bounce curveballs a couple times and try and get Alonso to go fishing for it.
Yeah.
It's like I'm never using my changeup in that situation unless I have no feel for my curveball that night, which I don't think was the case.
Let me tell you something that I just realized. I've thought this during games, but I don't think I've talked about it. The pitch comm makes me feel different about this whole thing too, because I don't know who to blame, because Higgy has blame here too. Higgy was catching, and he's got the opportunity to either if he's calling that pitch, or he's or Herman's calling the pitch, because there's a lot of pitchers now that are just essentially calling their own game with pitch comm, and Higgy's calling pitches, I believe.
Herman, he is, because Herman.
But I'm not able to see the shake off. I'm not able to see the person throwing down multiple sig.
Cone brought this up on the broadcast on Tuesday. Herman he looks down to here, to not focus on it, looks down, and he would nod or shake like this. He would go up and down or that.
I don't know. It's not the same for me. I need to see the communication, and I can't see the communication anymore. And
if
I'm not saying
no matter who it is, that's a bad decision.
At the clouds, but yeah,
Higgy bad call. And if Herman heard him call changeup and didn't feel confident, he should have shaken him off.
Absolutely, but I also at the same time, like, who do you think is the who would you trust more in any of those situations, Herman or Higgy? Like, for the perfect game, Herman or Higgy, who are you trusting to call that game? Who are you putting your money on?
I mean, I'm not trusting Herman.
Making the right decisions.
I'm not trusting Herman to do anything. Like, he can't turn a microwave on in my eyes.
That's what I'm saying. So I actually put more of that pitch on Higgy than I do Herman.
But he is the pitcher.
But it shouldn't have been called.
He shouldn't have been called.
I get that, but Higgy told him to throw that, I think.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
That's a
Let's
bad
put
call
some
by
blame
Higgy.
on him too. Yeah.
Fine. No, I don't care who the blame's on.
Yeah.
It was a bad pitch to a good hitter.
A bad pitch. Yes. To the one guy that you can't.
And that's the game.
He hurt you.
You fall down 4-0 at that point against Verlander, who's just toying with you. That's the game right there. That's it. Yeah. Third inning, game over.
Yep.
All right, couple of news items. So Judge expected to be activated Friday against Baltimore. That would be huge. He played sim games and felt good. Again, there was also a report he wanted to be activated for the Mets series, but the Yankees wanted to delay it, steal those extra off days. Andy Pettitte is now a pitching advisor for the New York Yankees.
That's nice. What does that mean?
Great. He advises pitching.
Is Jeter next? Is he coming?
Well,
I mean,
so
Pettitte's worked.
Where was Andy Pettitte on that 0-2 changeup?
He would have executed. He would have buried it.
Andy Pettitte would have thrown
a
cutter after cutter after cutter into his belly. Okay,
I know. That's good, man. You know what? Like, give me any bit of Yankees '90s blood in the organization.
You sound like Susan. That's exactly what Susan said. It's great that they're bringing in someone that knows how to win.
Well, it's true. Said. Give me any of those guys. Just infuse it.
Yeah, I mean, I love Andy Pettitte, obviously, but it's like, how much? What is that? It's just like he just wanted a job. Okay, cool. Here's a job.
I really do. So at the advisor, what does that mean? Is he around the stadium? Does he travel with the team?
He was there over the weekend. He was there over the weekend.
But does he stay with the team?
I don't think he's not going to travel with the team. I don't think an advisor is traveling with the team.
I don't know.
I think he'll be there for certain. I think he'll be there for certain series.
Okay.
Yeah, for whatever reason, and probably spring training when next year.
Yeah, I mean,
He'll be
talk
at
to me
spring training.
during spring training, though. You know, like don't tease me with Andy Pettit's name for being around, and then we don't see him until spring training again.
Well, it's interesting because like they hire Sean Casey, former Casey
Player.
was an all-star, right? Like he made
he's a
all-star
300
teams.
hitter lifetime, I think.
Okay, former all-star. They are hiring Andy Pettit, former all-star, multiple World Series champion. So it's like they're maybe moving away from the Matt Blakes coming out of community college in Massachusetts.
You think that? Do you think that? Because that would mean, first of all, that would mean that they are toying. They're putting their toe in the water back, outside the analytics game. Is kind of
maybe you need a mix. Maybe you need a mix.
You do.
Maybe
you
don't
absolutely need a mix.
Maybe having 11 Matt Blakes just with spreadsheets isn't the way. And
Matt Blake's a bad example though, because he's been really good so far.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, I'm using him as an example, but it's also not good to have
Brad
11
Wilkerson's there.
Exactly, you need a couple. You need some fat boys. You need some fat boys in there, but you can't have all fat boys. You can't have all Phil Nevins, who's just sitting there, just gripping and rip it.
Yeah, well, Sean Casey's see the ball, hit the ball, see the ball, hit the ball, see the ball, hit the ball.
Middle of the field approach.
Middle of the field approach. See the ball, hit the ball. I was telling Kev that the other day because he doesn't see the ball. He doesn't watch the ball. It just swings.
So
such a basic thing. It's so true.
I have a little T-ball thing for Harrison.
Yeah.
And every time he picked up the bat, I would yell, 2 hands. And so now when he picks up the bat, he says 2 hands. Doesn't swing with 2 hands still just whips the thing around. Just hit anything close to him. But he does say 2 hands. So I'm starting to plant those.
Yeah, just putting it in his brain. Eventually he'll like, oh, 2 hands. Why am I saying this? Oh, 2 hands.
Exactly. All right. So couple trade deadline moves so far. The deadline is August 1st, 6 p.m., which is a little bit different. It's always been July 31st, 4 p.m. Now it's August 1st, 6 p.m. Just for everyone out there. That threw me for
That's Tuesday, right? That's next Tuesday?
Tuesday at 6 o'clock, yeah. Eastern. Trade deadline, Giolito to the Angels. So the Angels are buying. He was one of the big arms at the deadline. They got some pitching. They needed some pitching. That means Ohtani not going anywhere. Is this the right move for the Angels? Probably not. They're 4 games out of the wild card, a game and a half back of the Yankees currently. They never seem to make the decision you think they're going to make. And if they think that keeping Ohtani and going for it this year, even though we're unlikely to make the playoffs, gives us a better chance to sign Ohtani in the offseason, maybe that is the right call.
Or you could look at it as this, that has nothing to do with the decision necessarily. It could play into it if things go well, but this is still their best opportunity to do anything remotely positive. And to get to, at this point, you just need to get into the tournament. And with Trout coming back, with Ohtani playing the way he is, Giolito, definitely bolsters, and he's been really good. The season stats aren't very eye popping by any means, but I think early June or mid June, the guy's been really good as of late. So you're adding something that the Angels have had such a problem with achieving, and that's talent on the pitching side. So for them, if I'm an Angels fan, one, I'm just very excited about this. Like, I don't want to hear about rebuild anymore because I don't have confidence that the team can do that. And you have this amazing product in front of you. Try to win now, right now, for this year. Don't worry about next year. Don't worry about the year after that. Who gives a shit? Win right now and make this year exciting. And maybe that does add some positives for you when you're negotiating in the offseason with Ohtani. I don't know if that's a consideration or not. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. It does make sense to me because I do think this is their best opportunity to go and do something. They have some young guys sprinkled in with some players, and Trout is coming back. He's already taken some. They called it. It wasn't dry swings. They said the soft swings or something. They don't use the same terminology.
New term on the West. The West Coast
light
baseball
swinging,
teams.
Something like that.
They use different terms. This is you're right. This is the closest the Angels have been to a playoff spot this deep in the season in a long time, which is kind of crazy to say.
Garrett Anderson.
Because last year, if you remember, I think the Yankees played them in like June, and at that point the Angels were playing well, but they went on like a streak right during that stretch of losing like 12 out of 15 games and completely just tanked the season. So this is we're almost in August and they can see the playoffs, which is interesting for them.
It is.
I pulled a quote from John Heyman. I don't know. Do you trust him? Whatever. Yankees people still hope and believe they will end up buying a piece or two, assuming the team doesn't fall back over the next few days. They plan on targeting an outfielder and a bullpen piece. So John Heyman saying that the Yankees,
the next 3 days are the most important days of the season because it's going to determine whether they're going to either make a run or not. Their feeling is going to change in 3 days against the Orioles.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, so is he making stuff up and just talking out of his ass, or is there some truth to, if the Yankees get swept in Baltimore, maybe they won't be aggressive at the deadline?
But what if they lose 2 of 3 and they fall another game back? It's stupid.
Exactly.
It's a dumb thing to say because you can't put a season on one series. You just can't. You either have the feeling or not.
What if,
you believe that guys are coming back or not? You believe that the talent is there or not?
What if?
And you're not chasing the Orioles anymore. You're chasing the wild card.
What if Judge comes back, looks awful all week?
He might. He's going to be rusty.
And then there's reports that like that the toe is really giving him problems, really sore, and the Yankees get swept.
You're saying that happens, if
that happens, reports. And so yeah, exactly. So it's like they lose, Judge looks bad and feels bad. Yeah. Do you think there's a world in which the Yankees decide it's not worth being aggressive and trading away pieces to acquire this deadline?
I think that they would stand pat probably and not do much if that's the case. I think the biggest thing that you said in there is Judge feeling something in that toe.
Exactly. Because looking bad is probable. But if he feels hurt, that's different. Completely different.
Yeah. So if that's the case, but again, it's not whether they necessarily win or lose, because again, like this team is what it is. You kind of know that, and 1 to 2 pieces, like I was saying before, like it's not going to make the world of difference. It's just not. It's not going to make the world of difference unless there's not a game changer out there. There are pieces that you could acquire to make this team better and to improve the makeup of it potentially, but there's nothing that's the biggest thing that has to happen is that guys that are here have to play. That's it. That's the biggest thing.
You can't go 1 for 17 with runners in scoring position in Baltimore. You're going to get swept if you do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, it's a bottom line. It's like you split with the Mets. The Mets aren't a great team, but you split with, but you went 1 for 17 with runners in scoring. You can't expect to win any games going 1 for 17 with runners in scoring.
No, you
position.
need to execute with runners on base.
It's insane. So
a lot of traffic on the base path though.
Great traffic.
A lot of traffic on the base path.
Fucking hate traffic. Okay. Does anyone like traffic? No. They like a clear road.
Yeah. There was traffic when LeMahieu couldn't score and Volpe was right behind him on third base. Well, DJ was getting tagged out because he misread a ball.
So Cole going on Friday to set the tone against Grayson Rodriguez.
I do like that. I do like that. That's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Top guy for Baltimore as far as pitching prospects go. Schmidt versus Tyler Wells on Saturday, and then Sevy versus Dean Kramer on Sunday.
Dean Kramer.
Big series, obviously.
Dean Kramer sounds like a Seinfeld character.
Well, Kramer?
No, just Dean. I don't know. Yeah, Kramer. But there's something about the Dean Kramer that sounds like a disgruntled employee at a factory.
At Vandalay Industries.
Yeah. Cole setting the tone is obviously exactly what you want. Need that to happen against their kid. Kind of the opposite. You could say for Baltimore too, if they slay the dragon with Cole with their young guy. They're in the driver's seat.
It's like if Grayson Rodriguez goes out there and shoves and Cole gives up a couple long balls and the Yankees lose 4-2. So it's feeling a lot different.
Yeah, and the bandbox that it is, I know left field's a little different today than it was, but still balls fly in that place. We'll see. We'll see. Glaber's still swinging the bat well. Got McNeil definitely robbed him on a couple times. This has been a very extended period of time now that he's swinging the bat well. Yeah. So that's good to see, especially with him going into Baltimore, knowing the success that he's had there. So he's got to walk in with some confidence.
I know Glaber, the whole thing with 2019 Gary Thorne, but like has Glaber? I don't know. I don't think Glaber's hit the Baltimore Orioles since then.
Not like he
hasn't
used
hit
to.
anyone since then.
We should not like he used to, but currently hitting the ball well. So we'll see.
All right. That's going to wrap up today's show. We will talk to you again on Monday after the Baltimore series. And depending on what the Yankees do, maybe they do something before then for the trade deadline or right at the deadline. I'm sure we'll be doing an episode discussing the moves the Yankees made. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to Game Time for sponsoring us. Again, use code Bronx for $20 off your ticket purchase. Talk to you in a few days.